Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game Mess. So, taking a very fun and exciting video for you guys today for two very big reasons. One, that is because Halo Fireteam Raven now works in Teknoparrot, and it is a really fun light gun shooter set in the universe of Halo. So in and of itself, that is a win for arcade preservation and arcade quote-unquote emulation. But secondarily, Teknoparrot has updated some of their backend to work with 64-bit executables on the Linux side of things, which is no easy task because before that, it was limited to 32 bits. And if you don't realize that there are different operating systems out there, 32 and 64-bit, it is a very big thing, and it's one of those things that Teknoparrot had to get running so we can see more arcade quote-unquote emulation in the future. And the reason I keep saying quote-unquote is because obviously this is more of a translation layer to get the game running on modern operating systems, because Linux isn't something that doesn't run on x86, so it really isn't an emulation technique in and of itself. But what is working here is absolutely stunning. I have played around with the game, and I also had help with this capture, and everyone I've talked to in my Discord has had a really fun time playing this one. And that in and of itself is absolutely awesome, because having another arcade game preserved and made playable for all time is going to be a fun time, because I did play this in arcades when it came out, but I haven't seen it in like 2 or 3 years in the Chicagoland area. So it's one of those things. Arcade games are always coming and going, and there will be a future where this Halo arcade exclusive isn't playable anymore, but it'll be playable for all time on Teknoparrot. And big thanks to Space Rock 12 for helping me with the capture, one of my favorite members of my Discord server. I left a link to his channel down below as well, so go ahead and give him a bunch of subs and leave him some comments saying VGE sent me, because I do have help on some of these videos, and I've had a very busy last 10 days. I'm going to have a very busy next couple months as well. Before you get too much further involved though, do me a huge favor down below, hit like and subscribe and ring that notification bell, definitely helps us out. And if you feel so inclined and want to support the channel, I got a Patreon link down below as well. But Halo Fireteam Raven is a really fun arcade game made by Rothrills, and basically Rothrills is what happened to Midway after Midway ceased operation as an arcade developer and game developer in and of itself, and they have a very old school vibe to them. And obviously if you can't tell already, this is an arcade light gun game, and if you know me and watch the channel, you know it's one of my favorite genres as far as arcade games are concerned. And considering I played every single mainline Halo game since the original franchise came out on the original Xbox back in the day, and while that was actually a really long time ago, this is definitely a fun time for me, because Rothrills really brings that old school arcade action to people still, with a bunch of fun light gun games and arcade racing games, and it really kind of feels like the best of the early 2000s, except in the late 2010s and even into 2026. So if you take a look here, you're going to see that now everything is going to work with 64-bit Linux architecture, and that is going to be more games in the future. And it's also going to support up to 4 players, because that is what the cabinet had. I still remember seeing this. I was basically playing the entire game alone, and I will say, while it is relatively decently balanced for a one-player experience, having more people in your house playing this thing is going to be a hell of a lot more fun. And the nice thing is with Teknoparrot, it's really easy setup process of getting controllers to bind. It really will only take you like 2-3 minutes to get everything set up, and then you're basically playing. And again, as far as the stability is concerned here, the only apparent issue is during the credit sequence. Sometimes it can crash, but of course by the time you get to the credit sequence, you played the entire game, so you really aren't missing out on that much. And that seems to be more of an isolated instance, where some people have reported that being an issue, and other people have said that they got through to the game, watched the credits scroll, and went right back into the attract sequence at the beginning. But as far as the performance is concerned here, it was a relatively decently high-test PC in the cabinet, so you're going to have a decent spec here. This is not a game that you're going to be able to throw a potato PC at, even if that potato is super fresh and freshly roasted with a bunch of cheddar and butter. You're going to have to actually bring something good to the party if you're going to want to play this one. But I feel like for the most of the people that watch here, you have a decent gaming rig, so you should be totally fine. And again, as you can see in the footage, everything is fast and fluid. All of the graphics are transposing over correctly. There really isn't anything to point at in the performance or actual visuals here to say that this is doing anything other than what it should be doing, and that's great on the Teknoparrot side of things. But let's do the first of 2 soundtrack samples so you can hear the audio quality in the game and see how that's coming out of a modern Windows machine. I'll be right back with more news on this one.
Plasma rifle. Plasma grenade. Hostiles! Phantom! Rocket launcher.
So, I mean, hey, it sounds like a Halo game to me, and that's all you really need to know about this one. As far as the audio performance is concerned, everything seemed to be working totally fine. Now, if you do want to play this one, you have multiple options. Obviously, you can just use any sort of standard controller and use the analog stick to be able to move the aiming reticle around, because there's turret-mounted versions of this cabinet as well as more of those Master Chief-style assault rifle cabinets. You can also do something like use your mouse, totally fine. I would use something like my gun for IR playing around with this one because it basically uses a mouse cursor to apply the overall aiming reticle on the screen. So you kind of have a lot of different options. So you could even throw a flight stick at this one. It could be a particularly fun vibe. You leave me a comment down below and you tell me, when you're emulating arcade light gun games on your PC, how are you doing it? Are you doing it via mouse, via some sort of send-in, gun for IR, or otherwise? Or are you just basically using an analog controller to do it? Because I know there's a ton of different options out there, and I particularly love my gun for IR, but everyone has their own opinion. And you'll see here, merged input is also available, so you're getting more control format options when it comes to Teknoparrot. And honestly, they've been having a really great 2026. We just recently got all the Chihiro emulation, including all of the versions of Outrun 2 running within Teknoparrot, and now you have stuff like 64-bit Linux and a new control scheme to be able to enjoy something like Halo Fireteam Raven on your PC at home. And I absolutely love to see that, because you know I love talking about emulation, whether it's more modern stuff like RPCS3 or even Shad PS4, but also stuff like new versions of MAME and emulation for like Super ZS NES on the SNES side of things. So anything that's going to keep these games alive longer and playable more for everyone is always going to be a win in my book. Because I can't stress enough, arcade cabinets are absolutely ephemeral objects. When these things break down or aren't making enough money for the operators, they're going to get sent away and they're going to replace that cabinet with something else. So maybe, you know, where there is one today, but maybe by 2030, those cabinets are going to dry up, something else is going to replace them, and you're just going to have to try to find the game or play it on Teknoparrot. So that keeping of games alive is definitely something that I think is absolutely crucial for the hobby moving forward, because again, this game looks new and feels new, but it is 8 years old almost at this point in time. It's one of those things. I'm sure half the cabinets in the world that even got installed are probably no longer on arcade floors. And the best part is taking place in the universe of Halo, having all those art assets and pivoting up to a light gun game. It really is an effective use of the overall Halo universe and franchise in and of itself, and Raw Thrills always makes a really fun game, and I'm glad they still exist as developers, because honestly, they're the ones making these classic arcade genre style games that feel like they're from 25 years ago, but also feel modern and new at the same time. That's definitely something the hobby needs if you are an arcade fan. Let's do the second soundtrack sample. Go ahead and listen for 45 seconds, and I'll be right back with more.
All forces are converging on the crash site. We need to allow the Master Chief enough time to detonate the Pillar of Autumn's fusion drives to destroy Halo.
You heard him. This is a one-way mission. We need to defend the Autumn at all costs.
Approaching the drop zone, Raven. Prepare to engage.
Warthog Mini.
So yeah, it's a big day for Halo fans, it's a big day for arcade emulation fans, it's a big day for Teknoparrot getting 64-bit Linux working within their overall system in place, and that is going to be a lot of fun in the future, because you're going to get more arcade games now that that is working. And I know Teknoparrot has some more fun plans for some other really rare arcade games out there, including some Japanese exclusives that I have never seen before and I've always wanted to play, and that definitely is 10 out of 10 awesome, because these games deserve more life, they deserve to be able to be played forever, and when it's as fun as something like Halo Fireteam Raven and it has that light gun vibe going on, you know it's going to be something that I absolutely gravitate towards and want to play and enjoy. And I will say right now, I pumped this thing into my 4K LG C4 OLED, and all of the colors along with surround sound just absolutely sound and look amazing, and the bigger screen you have, the better it's going to look. And honestly, that is a win for everyone, because arcade emulation is arcade preservation, and we all need more of that. But you leave me a comment down below and you tell me if you ever played this one in arcades, and if you played it on Teknoparrot now that it is available. I would be curious. But short of that, we're done. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. But go check this one out. It's definitely worth your time, and I'll see you guys next time. Hope you enjoyed the video. Bye-bye.